So tell me what happened on Shabbos afternoon.
Shabbos afternoon, I was coming home after Mincha. You know, on the street I met Mr. Grossman, who I've known for 30 years. And we met in the middle of the street. He's a sick man, and, you know, so we were like standing there by the intersection and talking, and I see this car backing up on 56th Street from 12th Avenue upwards to 11th. And then I see, you know, he's going, and then he starts coming across the street. I started yelling, and I tried to schlep away, and he didn't stop, didn't slow down, and I started to schlep away Mr. Grossman. Obviously, it didn't work out completely. And my little son, my 6-year-old, was standing together with me, you know, and he hit Mr. Grossman, and my son included, and he dragged him, pushed him backwards on the floor. I'd say probably a good 10 feet till approximately the first parked car is. So I don't know if he stopped because he stopped or because maybe he hit the parked car, he couldn't go further. I don't know. Mr. Grossman ended up with his head under the parked car, and my son, he went over the tire, went over my son over his thighs, and then, you know, he was in reverse, and in that second, what it, you know, takes to get you back into gear, I said, hey, I was so lost. I mean, he gave me such a murderous look, and there was another guy in the front seat, and just sped off, and went again over my son. So because of Nissim Galil Chaz Hashem, my son came out with all his bones, you know, whole. But Mr. Grossman, he had what looked like blood coming out of his ear, and he was lying there. You know. Of course, my son is bruised up and he's limping on both feet, and now and it hurts and hurts. My son doesn't remember a thing.
Did you see anybody from that vehicle running by, like got out and then run by you like minutes before this whole incident happened?
Not when I was standing on the corner. As far as I remember, maybe I just wasn't, but there was no one when I was standing schmoozing there about an intersection. It was quiet already. There was nothing, you know, no one was running, no one was coming. See, if this happened, that's like he says that there was an argument. The argument was before I got to the corner.
Now, how long did it take for the police to get on scene?
I don't remember. I don't remember if the police were on scene when I was there. I was yelling until I know the neighbor who lives on the corner. She called 911, and Fidney got there very fast. Then I later overheard an ambulance. They went away to a different call. Hatsula got there first, but I guess Hatsula got first from what how much pictures. Fidney got there right afterwards, so they took us into the Fidney ambulance.
Any police officers speak to you that night?
They came to the hospital afterwards. They came to ask about 3 or 4 questions. I told them, you know, what happened. I think they went deliberately. They tried to get back into us, and whatever. I don't know. Maybe, you know, a couple questions, and they made a comment to one of the police officers. I don't think we'll be able to catch them. And the next day I got a phone call just to hear the extent of my injuries. And, you know, so in other words, I had no idea what's going on. From any official source, I had no idea. You know, we went through a whole Sunday, a whole Monday, and you know, what comes out for 60 hours we went through before I heard anything.
Now, what are your injuries?
I have a broken toe, I have laceration, I have stitches, and well, this is the trauma from it. I mean, I couldn't, you know, Tisha B'Av I was still okay because I was still under adrenaline, what they call it, but afterwards, you know, yesterday I was a wreck.
Now, what are the doctors saying for recovery-wise? Like, how long is it going to take about?
Stitches takes about 2 weeks to take out. And
but the actual healing of the toe and walking therapy and all that stuff, how long?
Yeah, another 4 weeks, 4 or 6 weeks with the shoe. You know, to be mitzvah to myself, you know, anything. I'm not there yet.
Now, what's your feeling with the police department, with how they dealt with this whole entire case?
Oh, how the policeman in the hospital was very nice to me, but you know, good. He'd be a good usher in the bank, maybe. But this is not a policeman. To tell me right away we're not going to catch the guy. I could have told him how to catch the guy. At least look at cameras. I mean, everyone has cameras these days. Walk down the street. It's your precinct. You should know something. Look around. Maybe you'll find a few cameras. You know, right away. Gave up and you know, not important. The whole thing. So my son called up the school and the organizations. The first ones to reply was Shmira. That's why we're talking here today, because they were here. If not for them,
now,
I'd be limping girl, and no one would know about it. When I got out of the hospital, once Shabbos, came out after Eiche, I davened Mara, of course, B'Yechidus, and then my son was in contact already from before, right away with Shmira, and we went to meet a guy from Shmira. It ended up, I think, 3 or 4 guys from Shmira were there. You know, they took all the information, and they took over. They were up a whole night, and they were working non-stop. I know other phone calls were placed to other organizations. I don't know. I didn't hear from them, but I know what Shmira did with, you know, fasting and everything, and putting.
My recollection is it was raining and it was hot.
It was pouring, and the next day it was humid and it was hot, and everyone was fasting there, and there was no chachmas, and they stayed up a whole night. I heard, you know, when they had the cycle, how to first they put together all the videos, they got it, and then they put thought into it. Where could the guy be? And they started looking. I don't know how long that took. You have to ask them. And they found the place, and they staked out the car a whole night. And they had the contacts, I guess, with police. I wasn't involved with them, but they did a moeilijke job with a moeilijke getreischaft and a mesiras nefesh for the community.
How the other victims?
The worst victim was Shmira Grossman, because the car pushed him to 10 feet. And I think he slammed him into the parked car, and the way how it looked like when he was lying there, the blood was coming out of his ear, but he has a gash the whole length of his head. 17 stitches I hear, and 3 broken ribs. His neck is in a cage. And the worst thing is, from what I understand, I didn't have koich to go visit him, but he's all confused, and you know, to get out of it, to get back to himself. It's going to be a while. That was